Hey everyone, it's Libby from Maighstirtarot. Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people, the traditional custodians of the land on which these videos are made, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. Entertainment only. Okay, what do I want to have a look at in this particular reading? If you're not already following her, Christina Talks is a fabulous, very short little snippets, 4 to 7 minutes, something along those, doing a lot of dot connecting in regards to this regime. So please give Christina support. What I want to have a look at, I have in the past shared a couple of her videos in my post section if you need to try and find her that way. But she is exposing a lot to do with the money trails and the finances of all that is going on, along with other little snippets here and there. Okay, what I want to have a look at in this particular reading is a bit of a combo. So apparently Ukraine is using Franco-British missiles called Storm Shadows to fire into Russia. Apparently, there was, an evacuation of the Kremlin in Moscow and use of the bunker, etc. there. Apparently, the Orange Twerp has come out and said, we didn't authorise that. Well, I don't think Ukraine gives a flying F what the US authorises anymore, because the US is basically, I'm not talking about you guys, I'm talking about the regime. The regime has basically proven it's unreliable, and Ukraine is not a member of NATO, and the US basically doesn't have a say. Now, I do apologise about the light. I am today going to get myself a light box from that side to try and level things up a little bit. Okay, so what do I want to have a look at? So Ukraine are using Franco-British Storm Shadow missiles to fire into Russia. I believe the Swedes are supplying aircraft, again, because the regime promised aircraft, didn't provide, promised Tomahawk missiles, didn't provide. And so other countries are stepping up. And I go, yay, go Australia, because what Australia's providing is not only the Bushmasters and new improved Bushmasters, which the Ukrainians absolutely love. They're troop moving vehicles that can be kitted out as ambulances or whatever, all-terrain vehicles that are really good for stopping detonations, hurting those that are within them, etc. And I believe Australia's produced over 1,300 of these Bushmaster vehicles, but we do supply them to about 9 countries, but we've given a lot to Ukraine. Australia's also supplying now, I believe, yes, strength on the international scene of supplying Ukraine. Australia's also supplying what's called Apollo high energy anti-drone lasers. Again, these are a new development, a new creation because of the use of drones in this particular conflict. Now, what happens out of conflict is we come up with all sorts of new technology. Yeah, unity, you coming together in unity. Now, these anti-drone lasers, sorry, I'm reading my notes here. Apparently invented in Australia, apparently what happens is they melt and cause the drones to ignite. So they're just not dropping them out of the sky. They're causing these drones to actually blow up in the air, destruct, melt, no information's passable, etc. Apparently it can shoot down 30 drones per minute using this laser. It has an internal energy magazine for 200 shots before it has to be reconnected to a power source. So that's 200 drones in the magazine. It has a guidance system that seeks out, and apparently it's easily transportable and can be mounted on the back of Bushmasters and other vehicles. So go Australia with our support. So what I want to have a look at, though, in this particular reading, and I wasn't sure what deck to use, so I'm using the basic standard Smith-Waite Tarot deck. Apparently, Russia has just tested a new nuclear-capable weapon. It's not new, but it's called, I believe, the Burevsnik. My Russian accent's not very good. It is also known, I believe, as the Skyfall weapon. So if you're wondering where the name Skyfall for Bond came from, I suspect it's from that weapon. Now, apparently with this weapon, it's not done so well in testing, but the Russian, the Kremlin are now claiming that it has a nuclear-powered engine in it as well, this particular missile, and the Kremlin is claiming that the latest tests, they've kept this missile aloft for 15 hours, and it covered a distance of 14,000 kilometres. I don't know what that is in miles, but you guys can do the conversion if you need to. Now, I gather in 2019, while they were testing this particular weapon, one blew up in 2019 and killed 5 nuclear engineers in that explosion. Now, for those that have been following me for a long time, know that I got this vision ages ago of some lunatic in a command center saying, push the button, just push the button. And those that are, at the controls going, but we're not ready, but we're not, and ending up in some sort of the lunatic pushes the button and there ends up this massive explosion, which puts the whole world sitting back on its haunches and saying, what the heck are we doing? So I just want to have a look at this Borevestnik nuclear weapon. As I said, entertainment only. What do we need to know? Okay, there's some sort of whistleblower coming forward, bringing information about it to the West potentially, and a silo implosion with the Tower card. It's not. So tell me, what do we need to know about this Borevestnik nuclear missile? Is it going to be deployed? Is it going to, the Two of Swords just popped out? Not ready. They're not ready. It's not ready. I keep hearing it's not ready. What do we need to know about this weapon? What do we need to know about this weapon? This missile? Right. The Lovers. An unbalanced contract and agreement. I just keep getting the engineers are saying we're not ready, but those in charge want to. Right. The challenge is the information from the past. What happened in the past? It's going to be certain individuals here so the energy around it at the moment is the walking away. I keep getting it's not ready. I've heard you guys. I've said it. Let me get on with the reading. Walking away from it. Right. In the past, we've got the Temperance trying to create something that's the alchemy spin, pouring back and forth, trying to create this third element. This is just back and forth, trying to get it to work in the past. Crowning this reading, plan, looking at the international stage and formulating a plan. Tell me about this weapon. Six of Pentacles, underfunded. This underfunded in the immediate future. Like literally the engineers working on this have to beg for the funding for it. Tell me about it. Externally, I'm just going to say not ready again. 4 of Cups, not ready. However, those involved are going to be restricted, pretty much tied up. I mean, Russia does have a history also of disposing of these like the engineers, etc., when they've passed their use-by date. So dead men can't tell tales, basically. But confinement, restriction. Those that are refusing to toe the line on this are going to find themselves, I think, thrown in jail. The Ace of Pentacles, the hopes and fears, this new opportunity coming forward, plotting and planning behind the scenes. But we've got the disappointment, and then the Page of Cups, the lunacy. They're going to find, when I'm talking about I'm talking about the Kremlin, going to find somebody who agrees. I think the top nuclear engineers on this, I'm not saying the 2019 explosion was deliberate to get rid of the dissenting engineers, but I think not ready, but those that are voicing their concerns are going to find themselves restricted. And those in the Kremlin that want this are going to find yes men with that Page of Cups. Out in the cold, the military, and something coming to an end with a big stick moment. There's no blast here, but I do wonder. So I think what they're going to do is find yes men and shut out, lock up those that disagree, moving it forward, but with chaotic, something coming to an end and a huge announcement coming forward. Something that's going to affect the world stage and a big announcement. Okay, so let's have a look. Is this, just keep getting it's not ready. Is this Skyfall, Bereznik, whatever, missile? Is it the one that I keep seeing is going to explode? Is this the one that you want that one? Okay, is this the one that I keep seeing going to explode? Entertainment only. Right, something new opportunity. The Justice card, which I'm not talking about legally, it's actions having consequences. Page of Pentacles. Where's this going? Looking at the option. Big stick moment. Underfunding. Some announcement coming out. Underfunding. And the burden. Is this the one I keep seeing that's going to explode? And there's a Sun card, an explosion. Chaos, explosion. The Sacrifice. Trying to juggle what happened. A lot of news coming out. The abuse of power. Secrets being revealed. plans behind the scenes. It just keeps going in the same. But then you've got heartbreak, loss, despair. I think it is. I think it is. You've got trying to shut the mouth of the lion and then trying to keep a lid on what actually happened, but the Knight of Cups, the Moon, and the Death card. Temperance, World, Chariot. Look at this major arcana here again. This is the energy underlying it. There may be some arrests for treason to try and keep the engineers, those that are in the know, quiet, keep a lid on it. But we've got here a false friend offering up. Lunacy leading to death, leading to a rethink on the world scale about military. Just when I saw the news on this particular weapon, I just felt really that they were playing a dangerous game with this. And I think the engineers involved are going to, that are trying to warn, basically going to be silenced, not unalived or anything, but yeah, those trying to warn with the Page of Swords are going to be not necessarily strung up. There might be some falling out of windows perhaps, but I think they're going to be incarcerated perhaps. Watch for a lead engineer to fall out a window or something along those lines. Yeah, it just feels really good. Okay, I'll just refresh that deck. Heavy energy here. Ukraine. Using the Franco-British Storm Shadow missiles, been very good at targeting. Is the support that Ukraine are getting. I mean, the US can protest all they like. They can go and take a flying leap because they've chosen to not be involved. They've chosen not to be involved. They've chosen to hang on, but they're finding themselves back up against the wall, and the ability to make money out of this for the US is at an end, being strung up, basically sacrificed. This no longer has anything to do with the US, is my opinion, and they don't get a say. Oh, the orange twerp is over in Malaysia, apparently signing a peace deal between, was it Cambodia and, oh, I can't remember the other one, the neighbouring country. They were having a squabble on the border. So, of course, the orange twerp's over there claiming that he brokered the peace deal. No, he didn't. Anyhow, apparently he stopped about 365 wars so far. No, that's an exaggeration, but he's claiming about 10 or 11 or something. No. Okay. Ukraine now has use of the Storm Shadow missiles, Bushmasters, the Apollo laser, anti-drone lasers, the Swedish fighter jets, like equipment's coming in from all angles all over the world. How's this going to go for Ukraine? I always see it will end up with Ukraine succeeding. I also see Crimea will become a sovereign state after this is all over too. Okay, we've got, how's it going for Ukraine? The retreat. Retreat can also be biding their time. So how's this conflict going for Ukraine? They do have the light of the stained glass window shining through. Right is on their side, but this is dragged out years beyond what it should. Challenge is agreements that are not being fulfilled. So yeah, Tomahawk's going, not going. F-16's going, not going. So their challenge is the reneging on agreements. However, the energy they're stewing in is the world. The rest of the world is stepping up. In the past, we have the star of hope and healing, the best of democracy. Crowning the energy over this reading is the stealing of weapons, the stealing of promises. How's all this going to go for Ukraine? Disappointment with what's on offer. I'm not surprised here. However, the Fool, which is I'm feeling very much as a new start for them. Leap of faith. Leap of faith. New. Okay, so this is the here and now. Right. The here and now is past agreements literally being stolen from them. They're full of hope in the past path, the here and now, the going forward. The Ace of Pentacles, new offers coming forward. Internally, we've got this abuse of power, betrayal, deceit, but walking away on the positive side, walking away from the bully. Okay, I like that. Internally, walking away from the bully that promised all this but reneged on it. Okay, I think basically the Orange Twerp has had his last opportunity with Ukraine. There's no point in Zelensky going over there for a chat when all he does is get abused. Hopes and fears, the Tower. Okay, well, that's obviously a fear, is the strikes. Imagine living in when you never, you go to sleep at night or you send your children to school or whatever and you just don't know. Okay, the outcome stabbed in the back, but then we've got this Queen of Wands, loss and disappointment, something unexpected out of left field, walking away, restriction. I don't like these cards. The Hanged Man, sacrifice, it all gets too much because a certain somebody's holding on to, and then we've got Judgment card. I don't like these cards for Ukraine at all. How's it going to go for Ukraine? I think they've just been over and over stabbed in the back and disappointed with what was being offered, yet whipped away from them, which puts them with their hands behind their back, restricted. This is very much telling about the US regime, the Orange Twerp, the GOP and Congress making promises and reneging on it. Just awful cards. Yeah, not refusing to even look at what the Orange Twerp is offering. Moving to new circles of support that's going to bring this to an end. You've got here the infighting with these oligarchs, secrets being revealed, volatile information being brought forward about those in government. This is telling me really, really about the regime here. Because my thoughts were about you when I was shuffling, asking the question was about the disappointment in the US regime. I just really feel that Ukraine just aren't even going to bother anymore. They're just not going to bother with the regime anymore. That's what I'm getting. They're just, there's only so many times you can betray, steal, I think, the rest of the world, because we had the world card right next to this card here. And internally, where was that card? Where was that? Oh, there's right in front of me. Yeah, just going to walk away from that bully energy. So it's almost like what I'm really feeling when I'm talking about that is it's like the South Koreans with the Hyundai factory that were arrested and zip-tied and marched off and stripped and humiliated and shackled by the ICE. The betrayal, it's reneging. It feels like the regime are almost going to beg Ukraine to come back to talk to them, because the military industry, Ukraine's just not gonna. They're just gonna walk away. The rest of the world is stepping up, and I just keep getting that sorry, get my little sorted out there. The US. It's almost like the US regime are going to sort of almost beg Ukraine to come back into discussions with them, and Ukraine's like, yeah, nah, done with you. You've had how many chances, and each time you've betrayed us. No, we're done. And as I said, the rest of the world is stepping up. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Love to you all. I shall catch you tomorrow. Quite a few other bits and bobs that I want to have a look at, but enough for today. Okay, love you. Catch you shortly. Bye-bye.